Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Chauskas. Today is the 4th of June 2018. So welcome everyone, welcome to this first trading day of this week. As always, we're going to have a quick look at the markets, what happened with them last week, what levels to watch out for this week. But as always, before we jump in, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, a quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts, different technical analysis on their own, and yeah, of course, our daily analysis. So yeah, guys, feel free to visit us and check us out. But for now, let's have a look at the market. So the first one I want to touch on is the S&P 500. Now, the S&P kind of let's say had some nice moves last week. We are still stuck in this little range here between the 2742 and the 2700. So we saw initially last week that we had a break here below this 2700, managed to test this downwards moving trend line here from above, and it acted as a nice bouncing ground for this index to push higher again. So we're back in this little range here. Certainly for us to kind of become more bullish, we need to see a nice good break above the 2742. In this case, in this scenario, we would aim for these higher levels here at around 2790 and 2800. Now, but first, of course, before we aim for these levels, we need to see a nice break here and especially a close above the 2742. On the downside, certainly the 2700 is still in the game. We could end up moving lower again. We could end up testing this area, and of course another break below this could push, or should I say probably pull this index a little bit lower again. Maybe again we could see another test of this downwards moving trend line from above. So keep an eye on this range, guys, for now. So, and wait probably for a nice break. Looking at the FTSE 100 now, FTSE 100, we saw some recovery on Friday. Certainly managed to get to the highs of around 77.45 approximately there, but then quickly retraced back down towards the 7700. Certainly slightly above this key level here that I've got highlighted around the 7690 mark. So certainly balancing around this 21 EMA as well. It's a difficult one to kind of predict right now. For us to kind of become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a nice move here above this level right here. Let me just quickly put the highlighted here. So the 77.95 could be a good area to watch. This has been approximately the highs of January this year. So if we see another test of this area, another test of the 77.95, keep an eye on a potential break. We could end up pushing higher, maybe even testing the upper bound of the Bollinger Band here, or even actually the highs that we had here in May at around 7903, some approximately there. So for now, guys, probably stay sharp on this one. I mean, there is some potential for the downside as well. Maybe this was just a small correction, a bit of a retracement here, but we could end up pushing lower again if we start knocking on the doors of 7610 approximately there. Well, a potential break below could open the path towards this 7565 area approximately there, and also testing this lower bound of the Bollinger Band. Slightly below that, we do have the 7419 area approximately here. It could act as a potential level of support, but that is only, of course, if we see a nice break here below the 7565. So for now, observe this one, guys, and let's see what it wants to do. later on. Looking at the DAX, and the DAX is, well, currently trading slightly below this 200 EMA here, shown as the black line. We're stuck in this little range here now between the 12,830 and the 12,600. Certainly a break below the 12,600 could open the path towards these lower levels here. So the one that we are watching here slightly below is the 12,450, approximately there. But like I said, for that one we would need to see a nice break, and especially a close below the 12,600. If this index manages to get back above this 200 EMA, and we'll start testing the 12,830 again, well, keep an eye, be careful. We could maybe break this to the upside, and we could go higher here and test this psychological 13,000 again. So there are some good levels to watch, guys. Certainly for now it's very difficult to say where it wants to go. We would need to see a nice break here, either above the 12,830 or below the 12,600. So looking at gold quickly, so gold is at an interesting spot, and last week we had a bit of a mixed week, let's say, and we were keeping an eye on this 1307 mark. So it continues to act as a good level of resistance for this commodity, and certainly initially on Thursday last week, so we had a nice push here to the upside. It seemed that the commodity wants to break this downwards moving resistance line. It did break it, but then still closed below it. So of course this is becoming like it's let's say the bears are kind of controlling this one right now. And of course then on Friday we saw a decline here. We managed to test this upwards moving trend line. This upwards moving trend line, by the way, is running from around December 2016. So currently it's acting as a good level of support, together with the 1290 mark. So if we see a nice break here below, and especially start taking out the 1290, watch out for this potential next level of support at around 1282.5, approximately there. So this was the low that we had in May. So if we start testing that level again and potentially start breaking that one, the next area to watch out for, guys, would be this next trend line here, this slightly more flatter upwards moving trend line that's running from July last year. Could be a good level of support, but only if we get a nice break here below the 1282.5, approximately there. So watch out for this one, guys. Let's have a quick look at a few pairs. So the euro dollar we're seeing a nice recovery here. We finally managed to break this downwards moving trend line here that was running from April this year. We managed to break it to the upside. Certainly on Friday we saw a bit of retracement here, but today we're opening this day with a nice strong strongish, I would say, strongish bullish candle. Certainly the potential could be here to the upside now, and we could end up testing this 1.17500 mark approximately here. That could also be in line with the 21 EMA by the time it approaches that level, if it approaches that level, let's say like that. So watch out for this area, guys. Watch out. Let me just quickly highlight that. Because if we do get a nice break, big one. So if we do get a nice break above the 117,500, then, well, I mean, this could mean that maybe the downside, it could be slightly off the table, and we could end up pushing a little bit higher. Certainly the next potential area to watch out for, the next potential resistance area to watch out for would be this 1.18 to 50, and a break above that. Well, we do have the psychological 120 still. We're keeping that one on our radar, and but only we'll consider that level if we get a nice break above the 118 to 50. On the downside, we would need to see a nice move back inside the below the downwards moving trend line here, the short-term downwards moving trend line, and then maybe another test of this. We could see another test of this upwards moving trend line that's running here for quite a while, since January 2017. Could be in a good area of support again, but like I said, for now, just keep an eye on it. Probably, like I said, the candle is currently becoming bullish, and we could maybe aim for the 117,500 initially. So right now, just like I said, guys, be very careful. This could reverse straight away down, but still, I would say we're more bullish than bearish on this one. So looking at the GBP USD now, GBP USD's it's probably looking slightly better than the euro against the dollar, the US dollar, and now of course we can see that we're pushing towards this area here, the 133.90 mark. Now if we do get a nice break here above the 133.90, keep an eye on this key area of resistance that, well, in the past acted as a good level of support, the 134.55. So this is a key area to watch. A nice break above that could send this pair higher towards this 200 EMA initially, and then maybe the excuse me, the 136.15 mark. So, but for now, of course, maybe let's not get ahead of ourselves too much, and let's continue watching these levels right here. First, we need to see a nice break above the 133.90, and then eventually a break above the 134.55. On the downside, for us to become more, let's say, bearish on this one, we need to see a nice strong move here to downside towards this area right here, these last week's lows at 132.05 approximately there. A break below that could open the path towards the next area of support at around 130.55. So for now, guys, watch the key levels here. We kind of, well, the pair is trying to become more bullish, but for us to kind of become really bullish on this one, we need to see a nice move here above the 134.55. Let's quickly have a touch on the Aussie dollar, and the Aussie dollar is looking strong. I managed to break my level here, the 0.75900. So we broke this level to the upside, and now testing the 0.76200. Certainly it's finding its resistance here right now. If we continue pushing higher, if we start breaking the 0.76200, keep an eye on the next level of 0.76450. that could act as a good level of resistance. So for now, if we start breaking that one, we do have this long-term upwards moving trend line here that's running, just a quick reminder to you guys, that's running here since January 2016. So we could end up testing that one from underneath. And then if we do get a scenario like this, and if we do a move, if we do see a move towards this trend line, then, well, we'll have to just reevaluate the pair again later on. But for now, this is looking strong, and like I said, keep an eye on this 0.76200 and keep an eye for a potential break. Quickly, let's touch on the dollar pairs, where the dollar is the base one. So USD JPY moving higher here, breaking the upwards moving trend line to the upside, but getting held here by this 21 EMA right now. So let's see if we continue pushing higher, or actually we're gonna maybe reverse back down. But for us to become more bearish on this one, we would need to see a nice break below the 108.100. So for us to become more bearish in the longer term. So for now, certainly we do have the psychological 110 not far. If we do have a nice push here towards the 110, the psychological 110, then, well, be careful. We do have this 200 EMA here that could act as next level of resistance. So for now, for us to kind of become more bullish on this one, we need to see a nice break not only above the 110 but also above this 200 EMA, and then we can consider higher levels again. So for now we're very careful with this one, because like I said, even though it's looking strong, it kind of strongish, it seems that it wants to push higher, but it's currently getting held here by this 21 EMA. And let's quickly touch on the USD CAD. Now USD CAD had a let's say a mixed week last week, and initially, well, on Wednesday we broke this downwards moving trend line and broke below, managed to move towards this 221 EMA, but then on the next day we reversed back up again, and of course now we're sitting just slightly above this downwards moving trend line again. So for now this could be seen as more of a bullish sign, and we could end up moving higher again and maybe even testing the psychological 1/3 level, with a break of which could open the path towards this high here, this last week's high of 130,500, approximately there. Now a break above that could open the path towards the highs towards these highs that we had in March, at around 131,200. Okay guys, so I'll have to wrap it up here. I hope you found this useful. Please join me later on in my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But yeah, for now, keep an eye on the price action, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.